Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's exactly 3 p.m. in Cairo time to look up at our Panorama News from Nile TV International, and I'm really happy to have the companion of my colleague Mahisi Rabia. Hello, Mahisi.
Hello, Hanan. Hello, our dear viewers, and we'll start with a look at the headlines.
President El-Sisi receives the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan at Cairo International Airport. Erdogan's visit aimed to strengthen bilateral ties and discuss key regional issues. "21 Palestinians, including women and children, killed in Israeli air attacks in Gaza." Ukraine, Russia and U.S. negotiators gather in Abu Dhabi for second round of peace talks.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his wife, Ms. Intisar al-Sisi, on Wednesday welcomed Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his wife at El Ittihadiyya Presidential Palace. Erdogan has arrived in Cairo on a visit that aims to strengthen bilateral ties, discuss key regional issues. A red carpet reception ceremony was held for the Turkish president with a guard of honor, and the national anthems of both Egypt and Turkey played. President Sisi and Erdogan held formal talks. Sisi and Erdogan will also co-chair the second high-level Strategic Operation Council meeting between Egypt and Turkey. Later, they will participate in the closing session of the Egyptian-Turkish Business Forum that will be held with the business community and financial and economic institutions from the two countries.
Well, to shed more light on the issue, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by our prominent guest, Dr. Mohammed Al-Azabi, an international relations expert. Dr. Azabi, great pleasure having you with us, and thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, very significant states visit from the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan at a time of regional turbulences. We're talking about the reopening of Gaza, of the Rafah border crossing, and also the suffering of the Palestinians over there in spite of reopening the Rafah border crossing, and also talking about the U.S.-Iranian tension. How you find the significance on the timing of the visit?
Well, we can say that this visit comes in a difficult time, hard time to the Middle East area, especially for what's happening in Gaza, what will happen to Iran, what happened in Syria, in Yemen. So this time need a cooperation between Egypt and many big countries like Turkey, like Saudi Arabia, and we need to make a unified situation with especially President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Recep Tayyip Erdogan. So we can say that almost every official Turkish readout and most analytical pieces highlighted Palestinians, especially the ongoing Gaza situation, as the top regional priority. Both countries have been vocal critics of Israel policies in Gaza and have pushed for ceasefires and humanitarian access. The visit provides a platform to coordinate positions, possibly on post-conflict reconstruction, preventing escalation and joint diplomatic initiatives. So we can say that it is a very important visit to Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Egypt, and it gives a significant that the cooperation between Egypt and Turkey in many fields is very important, especially next days.
Well, Dr. Lazabi, there are the many diplomats. They announced that the negotiations between the two sides, I mean the U.S. and the Iranian side, is expected to be on the to be held in the Sultanate of Oman on Friday. Well, but today, meanwhile, the U.S. military said that it shot down an Iranian drone that aggressively approached the Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier in the Arabian Sea. Is it also an alarm of war or what? Or just a maneuver or what?
Yes, in spite of the negotiations between Iran and the United States, but we can say that the conditions which put by the United States to Iran is completely rejected by Iranian government, and we are proud to see war in the area. So Egypt and Turkey and Saudi Arabia make a push to stop this war, also try to bring Iranian government and United States government on one table to continue negotiations and try to stop war by any way that can say in the next days. So we can say that Recep Tayyip Erdogan come to Egypt after his visit to Riyadh and his meeting with the Prince Mohammed bin Salman. So we can say that the Iranian situation is on the table between Recep Tayyip Erdogan and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Mohammed bin Salman, and they try to stop war by any way to prevent the war between United States and Iran, especially if this war happened, it will raise the oil prices and it will cost the world many things economically.
Yep. Well, the state's visit by His Excellency President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Egypt at that time is also signalizing the importance and the pivotal role of Egypt as a strategic partner in the Middle East or in the region in general to maintain peace and stability. What's your take on this?
Well, we can say on the table between His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Recep Tayyip Erdogan, many files like Libya aligning on political process and reducing external interference, also East Mediterranean energy, managing overlapping maritime claims and possible future energy cooperation. Also the file of Sudan and Horn of Africa and Red Sea security and direct coordination, especially after Erdogan Riyadh talks that touched on Sudan, Somalia and Yemen stability. The other file is on the table, Iran and Syria, exchanging views on containing Iranian influence and post-Assad dynamic, so less emphasized publicly. We can say that this visit by Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Egypt is far more than routine diplomacy. It represents the deepening institutionalization of Turkish-Egypt reconciliation, a shared attempt to shape the post-Gaza war regional order and part of Ankara border 2026 diplomatic pledge aimed to building a more cohesive Muslim world response to ongoing crisis, while full strategic alignment is not yet declared. The trajectory is clearly upward and increasingly ambitious.
Yep. Well, what if the Iranian refused discussing the nuclear program, as they even mentioned several times that they will keep enriching the uranium and to the positive and peaceful purposes? So what if it will really expand or escalate the situation, your point of view?
Well, in my point of view, Iran didn't refuse to discuss the nuclear file. But we can say that they wanted to know how to deal with this fight. Donald Trump put very difficult conditions on Iran. Not about the nuclear weapon only, but about the rocket program only, too. So I think if it comes to rocket projects, I think Iran will refuse, and we are about to see war between United States and Iran, and it will not only on Iran, it will continue to other places in the Middle East.
Well, Dr. Mahmoud Mohammed Al-Azabi, an international relations expert, many thanks for your insights and for being with us.
That was a call for Al-Asr prayer according to Cairo local time, and continuing Panorama News, where the Supreme Constitutional Court holds a press conference on Thursday to announce details over holding the 9th meeting of the heads of the African Constitutional Supreme Court's Constitutional Council in Cairo. Statement said the meeting will be held on Saturday and Sunday at the new capital.
Foreign Minister Dr. Badr Abdelati and Mr. Jonathan Paul, British National Security Advisor, exchanging views regarding regional issues over a phone call on Wednesday. Foreign Minister spokesman Ambassador Tamim Khalaf said that the call tackled the recent development in Iran, as Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati stressed the need for a de-escalation to avoid all types of conflicts and instability. The Foreign Minister urged conditions supportive of the resumption of the U.S.-Iran dialogue leading to a comprehensive peace settlement. The call also tackled the latest development in the Palestinian territories, stressing the international community's responsibility to ensure the implementation of the second phase of the U.S. Donald Trump's peace plan. This paves the way for the early recovery and reconstruction of Gaza and ensures unhindered humanitarian aid flow. The call also reviewed Sudan's situation, emphasizing Egypt's stance, supporting Sudan's sovereignty, unity, and territorial integrity.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Badr Abdelati received a phone call from Mr. Antonio Tajani, Italy's Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, at Tuesday evening. The call tackled ways to strengthen bilateral relations between the two friendly countries and the latest developments regarding the Iranian nuclear issue. Abdelati praised the distinguished relations between the two friendly countries during the call, emphasizing the commitment to enhancing all aspects of bilateral relations and elevating them to broader horizons. He also expressed his willingness to continue boosting economic and investment relations with Italy and to further trade exchange between the two countries, in addition to strengthening cooperation in the field of renewable energy. The two ministers also exchanged views on the accelerating developments related to Iran. The ministers stressed the priority that Egypt gives to de-escalation by strengthening the political and diplomatic paths.
Well, Israeli tank shelling and airstrikes killed 21 people, including 4 children, in the Palestinian territory of the Gaza Strip on Wednesday.
The Israeli attacks targeted Gaza City and the southern city of Khan Yunis, and come in the fresh violations of the ceasefire that began in October.
Gaza Civil Defense Agency said a series of Israeli air attacks on Wednesday killed 12 people in the Palestinian territory, including 3 children, and left 30 others wounded. The latest bloodshed came despite a U.S. brokered truce entering its second phase last month. It also comes days after the Israeli-controlled Palestinian side of Rafah crossing with Egypt reopened, allowing tens of wounded Palestinians to receive treatment abroad. Farah crossing is the only exit for Gazan that does not pass through Israel. Under the second phase, initial work of prepare for a reconstruction of Gaza Strip should begin, nearly after 2 years of Israeli aggressions and blockade that turned most of the Palestinians' enclave into ghost cities. 3 bodies were brought to Nasser Hospital after Israeli air attacks hit tents and homes in the southern Khan Yunis governorate. 6 more bodies were taken to Al-Shifa Hospital following similar attacks in Gaza City, the territory's largest urban center. The Israeli military admitted it had conducted airstrikes allegedly after gunmen opened fire on its troops, seriously wounding an officer. It said the troops came under attack near the so-called Yellow Line, beyond which Israel forces are stationed in Gaza. The ceasefire has been repeatedly marred by bloodshed, with at least 523 Palestinians killed in Israeli attacks since it took effect on October 10th. Saturday was among the deadliest days, with the Civil Defense Agency reporting at least 32 people killed in Israeli attacks.
For a third day, Gaza's Rafah border crossing was open on Wednesday for Palestinians wishing to return from Egypt to the Palestinian enclave under an October ceasefire deal. A third batch of returnees have arrived at the Egyptian side of the crossing, waiting for entering Gaza through the Rafah gate after its reopening on Monday, for the first time in almost a year. On the Palestinian side, Palestinian officials said that Israel hold the passage of the patients through the Rafah border crossing, and about 20,000 Palestinians are in need of medical care that is unavailable in Gaza after 2 years of Israeli war. A bus with about 40 Palestinians that entered Gaza via Rafah on Tuesday arrived at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis early Wednesday morning, where their families welcomed them after spending the entire day waiting. Through held as a step forward for the fragile ceasefire struck in October, it took more than 10 hours for only about a dozen returnees and a small group of medical evacuees to cross in each direction on the first day Rafah reopened.